Hello everybody, and welcome to Lea Live Unleashed right here on Pirate Radio 104.7, 93.5 all over northern Colorado. That is George Gray right here, my sidekick, and it's Friday afternoon. I love being with you. I want to thank all my crew right off the bat. I don't want to miss anybody. So George and Joanna out there in the North 40 over there in Fort Collins, and my that's George. All right, well, it's Friday, so this is what goes on Friday. And Terry out there in South Carolina. Wow, I want to talk about what's going on out in South Carolina and Florida. We'll hit all that. And of course, my Janelle, who's junior producer, and Kathy Holman, who is the senior producer out in, where is she? Yeah, no, she's Wyoming. And of course, George Gray. And then Mick's on camera, new guy at the studio. We love Mick Jagger. So anyway, thanks, Mick. Thank all of you. Can't do it without you. And all right, and a special thanks too to Water Valley. That's a nice big hello to them for help, sponsoring the show. Anyway, where do we even start? There's so much news. All right, let's hit the hurricanes, because I think we need to talk about them. They're awful. The one in Florida right now, George.
Yes.
This whole thing, do you know that right now, where we spend time in Florida for the last 3 years, in our building, they evacuated every single person. Gone. The building's dark right now. All up and down the coastline. Gone. They said the people that lived there for 20 years said they've never seen anything like this. So we're headed for the big one, George.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there's been some resorts. One of them is St. Martin, decimated. Pile of rubble, so it's going to be
years and years and years. Martin.
Now, St. Martin, I don't know if you remember, but they're kind of known for that airport where it almost flies,
yes,
and almost touches on the beach itself. As a matter of fact, a lot of beachgoers go there just to get blown back by the jet engines.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I know exactly. It's fun. It's beautiful.
Think about that decimation.
I can't even imagine. And let's not forget what happened, in Louisiana and Texas. So please keep praying for everybody. Pray for this world. We can...
Earthquakes in 8.1 off the coast of Mexico.
Exactly.
Wildfires throughout the United States.
Wildfires everywhere.
Canada.
Yeah.
Hurricanes. Is this
and they're
the end times?
Yeah, unprecedented. A couple other things, and then I am gonna share something that I think is important right now. First of all, we've got a great show too, and I want to give you a little information on that before we head into all of this, or I'll get in trouble here because they want people to know what's going on. I've got Allison Weston. We're going to be talking about car safety and the reason why. There's something really, really important about the baby seats, guys. So grandmas and mommies out there, pay attention because there's a lot of news. I think it's going to be really informative. And then that'll be quick, of course, and then we have Ann Waters, and Ann is going to share her experience with horrible experience, but we're grateful that she will share it with us because I think it's something we need to know about. First of all, her parents at 58 and 59 years old were broadsided by a drunk, illegal driver a few years back, and her story is incredible. She's an only child. How would you like to get those, police coming to the door? I'm sure they did, the sheriffs, to share that news, and not just one parent but both. A heavy story, and it's informative. And then of course Martin Lynn, our hero, and we'll do more politics. And I'm going to hit a little politics in the front, and we'll clean it up at the end of the hour with a lot more politics. So we've got a great Friday show, and all of you, thank you for being a part of the show with us. We love this time with you. It's 1 hour every Friday, and I look forward to it, and I try to bring in as much news as I can from the week and share with you. So sometimes the things that are important get lost, like this story I'm going to share with you right now. Remember last week I talked about the infant gender identity and how they're trying to change, not the sex of your child, they just don't want you to talk about the sex of your child. So when a baby's born, right now in Canada, they have passed these laws, and a woman already, she's already in the news talking about it, getting her baby gender card saying unidentified. The baby is identified, of course, but in her mind, she thinks this child should make up its own mind when it's 3, 4, or 5. They're nuts. All right, here's the part that gets me. Right now in California, just a week or two ago, school just started. A 5-year-old, 6-year-old was sent home from school to be disciplined because she spoke to a friend that last year in kindergarten, they're in first grade now, she spoke to him and saw him and called him by him name, but him name has a girl's name now. They thought she did it on purpose, and it was defamatory, and they sent her home to be disciplined. She's 6. 6 years old. This is what's going on in this country, guys. Just so many diversions right now. People don't want us to concentrate on the real truth. They're trying constantly to throw the Russia story in front of our face or whatever else they can. And I'm putting aside right now all the hurricanes, fires, those are big stories. But I am telling you, there's so much going on that is so awful, so unconscionable. They're stealing this country and our values, literally one brick at a time. Anyway, I just about lost it, and I don't want to go regress and get back into that story that we did last week, but I do want people to be aware of it, and there'll be more coming down the pipe. But there's a scripture, and I just feel led to share it with you. I saw it the other day, and I think it's poignant with everything that's going on in the world. I really do. I mean, it's not just Louisiana, Texas, Florida, it's Colorado. It's everywhere. God knows what's coming down the pipe. What comes next, George? Is it the, what are those, frogs? The
locusts.
Locusts, and then the frogs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. We've already had fire, floods. We got it, what more? But anyway, this is scripture. See what you think of it. If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven. I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land. I will heal their land. And boy, do we need a healing. All right, D.A.C.A. Do you know what D.A.C.A means? Does anyone know what D.A.C.A means? Everybody aware of what it is? The dreamers' decision, that have come to this country. What does it mean? What does it mean? Test, anybody? I have it in my notes, but...
and I gave you my notes.
Oh, you did not. You don't even know what it means. It's the D.A.C.A DDD. Okay, here we are. Okay, deferred action for childhood arrivals. Thank you. They're underneath the pile of papers underneath this desk. I wish you could see my desk. But anyway, yeah. So I can't even believe that. I mean, this is what it means. We've got this deferred action for childhood arrivals. Now, people are getting really crazy about this. They're afraid this 800,000 kids that are in this country that came illegally, but they were babies. They were 2, they were 3, they're 4. And believe it or not, I support the fact they were already here. They got under Obama at that time. It wasn't a legal law. It was Obama's just decision. It was never passed in the Congress, but it was done. So now that it's done and they're here, I believe the good guys should stay, and if you're felons and you're doing some bad things, I think you need to leave. And that's where I stand on it, and I'm anxious to see what happens with the law, because everyone's so upset that Trump, oh my gosh, he's changing. All he's done is moved it. He moved it. Literally, it's like you have a piece of paper in one spot, not a good place for it, going to get lost, as just what happened to me. You move it to another place, and that's what he's done. He's given it back to Congress so they can vote on it and change this mess that we're in.
And here's something. President Barack Obama implemented D.A.C.A in June 15th of 2012 using an executive order act intended for the program to be temporary and for Congress to pass a more comprehensive immigration reform bill, which they have not
done. And George, thank you for finding the notes. Yes, and that is absolutely a truth. And he just felt like leave it for somebody else to clean up.
So here's the bad thing. I don't want to interject, but
I want
really
you to.
So let me see if I get this straight. You tell me if I got this straight.
Okay.
According to D.A.C.A, we can't deport illegal aliens because it's not fair to hold them accountable for something their parents did, right?
Yes, that's right. That is right.
I'm being blamed and held responsible for slavery and the Jim Crow era because of the actions of people totally unrelated to me.
No.
I get it.
Oh,
you see how it's a double-edged sword?
Oh, no, here's even a better one. They are angry that this has happened, that we are part of, that this happened in this country, and they want to rip down our statues. They want to destroy our Constitution, really. They want to destroy any man that was a part of that at that time, which was the history of this country, tearing it apart. And yet, the Democrats at that time, George, they were responsible for this. The Republicans were fighting to free the slaves, and the Democrats at that time, and please research this is absolutely a truth.
Dixiecrats?
You know, absolutely the truth. They wanted to keep their slaves in chains. That's what they always say about Republicans. It's a joke, and yet they can forgive that. They don't mind that. They support a party that was a part of all that, and they can put that aside. But God forbid that we have Abraham Lincoln, you know, or any other statue, if it's Jefferson or whomever. It is a part of who we are. We didn't do it all perfectly, but it is the history of this country, good, bad, and indifferent. But we've grown. We're not that way anymore. We don't want to be that way anymore. We had nothing to do with it. It was well before any of our times in this room.
But you're Caucasian.
Yeah.
You need to suffer. You're responsible for this.
It's so hypocritical. I am so sorry. Last week, I used the word undocumented instead of illegal. And we had a call. I had 2 calls, actually. And I appreciate that, because you're right. I was being polite. And I'm not always polite. I should have just said they were illegals. They're not just undocumented, they're friggin' illegals. So thanks again, and thanks for listening to the show and helping me out. Hey, I'm just a mom and a mother and who am I? We're just having fun on Friday and trying to share a word and a truth. Okay, one more thing and then we're going to break. The Drain the Swamp book by Ken Buck. I haven't finished it yet, but some of the pieces that I've read, the little excerpts, are going to blow you away. I did not know this. Do you know there's pay for play in Congress and the Senate? Big time. If you're a deputy whip in the Senate, you have to pay $2.5 million. $2.5 million. Sorry.
Where's the money? So follow the money.
Follow the money.
Where does the money go? Do you know?
What do you mean? They have to raise the money to go, what, if for the Republican Party, they say.
So it goes to the... Okay.
No, and think of all the... How come so many of these people come out with 3 houses and go in with barely an apartment? All right, here's another one. The conference chair, $5 million to be the conference chair. You got to come up with that. The whip, $5 million. The majority leader, listen to this, $10 million to be the majority leader. In my ignorance, and I mean this, I never knew this, I thought they were elected by their peers. I didn't know you pay to play. $20 million to be the Speaker of the House. And if they don't pay and they miss a payment, they're gone. So they spend more time dialing for dollars. Wait till you read this book. Oh, stop it. Dialing for dollars than they do passing legislation. They're too busy. All right, enough. All right, we're going to break. We're going to be right back here with lots more. Don't go away. You've been listening to Lea Live right here on Pirate Radio 104.7, 93.5, all over northern Colorado. Look forward to seeing you right back here.